Hello and welcome to SlingShot Options. I'm going to introduce to you the concept of swing trading with covered calls. Many systems have been made here at SlingShot Options in coordination with the SlingShot Options style and philosophy, which is a higher velocity type of swing trading style. What's a higher velocity swing trading style? That means we want to look for swings that tend to move with a lot of follow through and do so immediately. And of course, when you're trading options, that's ideal. Well, when you're buying options, because when you're buying options, your options can retain their premium value and you won't have as much premium decay issues, whereas you are quickly moving into the money and profiting. So with covered calls, we are selling options, but we have some very advanced strategies here with covered calls. Now, this is the SlingShot Options approach to covered calls. We have now a new site called Covered Calls Mastery, and we're building that out right now. And we're going to put several of these systems and strategies on that site, but we're going to put many more on that site too. And ultimately, what I want you to start thinking about is retirement. Now, some of you already have retirement. Some of you have stock portfolios. A lot of folks who are looking into covered calls already have stock portfolios. So therefore, wouldn't it be nice to be able to manage a stock portfolio, whereas not only can you pluck off covered call income strategically, but also be able to handle the downside and make money as your stock goes down or even tanks, or make money when the markets are just oscillating back and forth, channeling. It could be a sideways channel, it could be a downward drifting channel, it could be an upward drifting channel, or also know when to not sell the call. That's a big deal, and so we go through these things. We teach you how to do these, and even more importantly, before all these other fancy ideas, we're going to teach you how to time your covered call selling with a very specific systematic reason based on a price chart. Right? Price charts are amazing. They have repeated scenarios and patterns and tendencies that are all interlinked into a giant web matrix web of price action based on ratios and numbers and sequences such as Fibonacci. And so it's really fascinating. And then you start to see there is a tendency. There is a whole story going on behind the scenes of price action. There is an actual language being spoken by the marketplace. And when you start to understand that more, it becomes really neat. And you can take advantage of these tendencies. When you understand what the market is saying, you can then put on a trade when things coordinate with what the market is saying. Now, so when you have a systematic approach, you can enter at a specific time, go grab the, in the case of a call premium, you can go grab the downswing and then cash out early. Or if it's a prudent thing to do, hold the expiration. Now, we don't really get stuck on that. I'm going to cover many pitfalls of covered call trading. We're going to eradicate them because covered calls of the past have been really lame. Okay, and the teaching on covered calls has been extraordinarily lame, getting people actually more into trouble, creating a mess in their portfolios. All right, getting their stock called away while cutting off profits to the upside because there's no exact plan of action. So we're going to go fix that. We're going to go introduce you to Covered Calls 2.0. Okay, so we're calling it right now. There's probably some other better name for it, but we're just calling it 2.0, the next generation of covered calls, whereas we're going to systematically and or strategically too address covered calls and sell the covered call at the right time. Now, right time means we operate in a systematic probability-based approach because that's the only way there is, just like any business. So we look to put ourselves in the position. So we have a method of of exit if a trade is not following through, so we can manage that as well, so we can prevent our stocks from getting called out and so forth. But now, because we are swing trading covered calls, we can go look to grab more premium. So we can make a lot more per month, or actually I should say per week even, by learning how to swing trade or micro swing trade covered calls, which is a cool concept. And even now, day trading covered calls. Yeah, it's pretty fascinating. So get signed up on this newsletter. Okay, this newsletter is just an organized email list, which is going to teach you about the different programs and send out various emails, tips, articles, expressions from time to time. And but that's how we contact you and keep the focus on the covered calls, this covered calls newsletter. Okay, so ultimately, I want you to keep in mind from this point forward to start looking to build a cash flow covered call retirement portfolio. Now, you may have stocks already, and you're going to learn a ton in order to make money off those stocks. But some of you have, bought Microsoft 30 years ago, and now you have a ton of shares and you don't really want to sell them. Well, then you definitely need to learn how to trade covered calls 2.0. All right. So some of you, or most of us, it would be good for us to do is start a new portfolio and just start building and buying stock. We're going to build that up, and you can do so from your other trading. You can look at our other systems here on SlingShotOptions.com, and you can look for ways to generate cash. So now if you make a few hundred extra grand in a year, or some of you a few extra $1 million, then, well, you don't need to just sit on that and keep it in the same systems, although you can, but you can start putting off some of these big chunks of money into buying stocks. Now, no margin, just buying stocks, and look to now create a retirement cash flow portfolio. And get started now, because it takes a process of getting better and better at trading a system over time. And why do you have to get better and better? Because not only do you have things of the past in your mind, and you have other overlapping systems or strategies you may have been doing, but you need to get good at this one way, although you can do other multiple things at once, but your one way has to have clarity. You can have one trading account for the purpose of your covered calls portfolio, for example. Keep it focused, right? So you want to have this set up and build it and build it and build it, and get yourself to you have a cash flow, whereas you're maybe selling, maybe be averaging 2 or 3 points, could be more, depends on the I'm thinking of a lower price stock per month of a net profit, which can be your cash flow off of 50,000 shares. Okay, so if you have 3 points a month off of 50,000 shares, you're looking at between 100,000 and 150,000 bucks a month cash flow, if you can net that on average. But it just depends on the stock. Of course, if you're trading a stock that moves around a lot, the potential to make more is there. But I'm just talking about covered calls. What about the other strategies? All right, the strategies for enhancing your profits on the upside, the strategies for enhancing your profits when your stock goes down, besides the covered calls. All right, and so on and so forth. So really, just get on the newsletter. You can learn about these products. It's a lot of fascinating things, a lot of different techniques. There are other techniques for grabbing quick cash opportunities as well. So you can enter the trade and grab it in a day or two and take the money and run. So that's pretty fascinating. But all right, so sign up on the newsletter, and we'll communicate with you more regarding these covered calls here and our covered calls mastery new site in coordination with the retirement type of program. But do focus on building this cash flow portfolio. This is something where, as with a net worth builder, you have to look into the future and you have to take action now, or it just doesn't get done. So you can tell from studying other wealthy people, they take action now, even though you won't feel like it emotionally. You have to act cerebrally and go. All right, thanks.